Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 26th March today, and in this video we are going to solve some important questions which could be very much relevant for your preparation. So before we'll start our discussion, I would like to give the brief introduction about this initiative so that if you are new to our channel you will get more connected with us. Basically in this video, we'll try to discuss three types of questions which would be taken from three different sources. So depending on it, the first set of questions which we are going to discuss here would be taken from the current affairs. What we are going to do here. We'll take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We'll try to discuss them. We'll try to break them down into the simplest language possible. And finally, we'll try to derive the possible prelims question from that particular topic so that it will give you the idea which part of the newspaper is important for you, what should be your approach when you are reading these news articles, and it will give you the idea how exactly a question can be asked with respect to these topics in the prelims exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do in the first phase of our discussion, and trust me, most of the questions would revolve around this phase only. After solving questions with respect to current affairs, we will shift our approach to the another part. Here we will discuss questions from the static portion. Currently, as you know, we are discussing Indian polity, and in Indian polity we are discussing the Parliament of India, and in Parliament of India we are discussing Rajya Sabha. So today we will discuss few more concepts related to Rajya Sabha. We will try to derive the possible prelims questions related to those concepts, so that it will give you the exact idea how a question can be asked over those concepts, even though those concepts seem very much unrelated to you, but they are very much important. So that is the reason why we had brought this initiative here. We bring those important topics and frame questions over them so that it will give the proper idea how exactly a question can be asked in the exam. So after solving questions with respect to current affairs and the static part, we will shift our approach to the last part of our discussion. Here we will discuss questions from the previous year question book. What we will do here, we'll take a few previous year questions, we'll try to break them down, we'll try to discuss them, we'll try to understand what is the vocabulary used by UPSC for framing those questions, we'll try to understand what are the different trends UPSC tries to follow for framing the questions, and at the same time we'll try to understand what can be the different methods which we can implement in the exam, and over those questions of which we don't have the knowledge and still solve them. So we'll try to understand that, and also we'll try to understand how we can implement this information in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell what we are going to do in this video. This is what we will do in this video. Now before we will start our discussion, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends, and please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. Now without any delay, let's have a look at the first question which we had brought today. As here on the screen you can see, the question is basically about the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, CDSCO. The question is about CDSCO. So before going to the context of the question why we had brought this question, let's solve it. Here the question says, consider the following statements regarding the Central Drugs Standard Control Organization. First statement, CDSCO operates under the administrative control of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. 100% correct, nothing wrong with the statement. First statement is 100% true. Second statement, CDSCO is solely responsible for granting licenses for all categories of drugs manufactured in India. Here it is a catch. It is not solely responsible, but state organizations are also responsible for granting licenses. So for second statement is incorrect. Third statement, the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 provides the legal framework for CDSCO's operation. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is answer 1 and 3 only, and from the code given below, the correct code would be option B. So with this we understood, I hope we understood the question here, what the Central Drug Standard Control Organization is about, what it is responsible for. It is responsible for granting these licenses to the drugs, but it is not solely responsible for that. So here I hope you had understood the question. Now let's go to the context of the question, why we are discussing this question. There are various issues with respect to the drug licensing, especially when it is about the vaccines. Actually the article is about the vaccines, so let's discuss the article. What does that here wants us to discuss here? About vaccines, it is highlighted that there is least transparency in it, least transparency and accountability in it. So what is that? What is the issue here? First of all, when any manufacturing company is manufacturing any vaccine, and they go for the test doses, they will go for the experimental period where they will test a few patients. Once the patients would be tested, what would be the results? So there are various issues with that. First, what is the issue? Who are those patients who are tested? It is very much unknown. Who are the patients who are those patients who are tested? It is very unknown. People don't know about them, and it is recommended that it should be, what people will, it should be given to the public. It should be available to the public domain. Who are the people who are tested? Suppose if not the public, if not the people, if it is not shown who are the people, but at least the names of the people should be shown to the public. And also, what were the results? It should be also be given to the public. What were the results of the test dose, or we can say testing period, experimental period? It should be available to the public. It is also not available to the public. So first issue of the transparency is during the testing of the dose, testing of the medicine, or testing of the vaccine. The second issue, which here it highlights, that once the Central Drug Standard Control Organization takes up the case, and it will have its own doctors which will look into the medicine and go for various experiments. So here the question is, with respect to those doctors, who are those doctors? Give us the there should be the transparency with respect to those doctors. Who are those? Whether are there any chances that they are related to those companies who are manufacturing these medicines? So there should be this transparency with respect to those doctors. Who are those? Are they solely working for the government, or they have some hidden aspects with those companies? So with respect to these doctors, there is no public information given to us. So that's what is demanded here. These are two issues. Then the third issue is, it should be very much, once, for example, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization agrees to the medicine and the license is given to any vaccine. So once it will go for the vaccination, and once people will go for the vaccination, it should be the duty of the doctors who are going to vaccine them, who are going to inject the vaccines to them, those patients. It should be the duty of those patients, those doctors, that they should highlight what are the side effects related to it. They should highlight them, what are the side effects related to this vaccine. It should be very well highlighted to the patients who are going to take it. And the fourth issue which was highlighted here is about the compensation, is about the accountability. For example, suppose if any person dies of taking these medicines, dies of taking these vaccination, suppose there is some irregular reaction into the human body, and a person dies, then who will provide the compensation? So these are the issues which were highlighted, that these should be very well defined. These should be very well critically examined and given to the public domain. So these were the issues discussed in the news article, and you should know them for your mains perspective. And with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is with respect to the anti-defection law. Why we had brought this question here? Because this question is in the news because there are various pleas with respect to this within the Supreme Court, which are asking that, is there any domain, is there any well defined, for example, is there any well defined time period within which the speaker has to answer, about the defection of any MP, about the defection of any MP? Is there any particular time period for that? So with respect to that, there is no clear time. The 10th schedule, which is respect to the anti-defection law, it does not provide any particular time period for the speaker to within which the speaker should answer to this question. So there is no particular time period granted or given under the 10th schedule. So with respect to this, Supreme Court of India is going to discuss over it, whether there should be any time period given for it. That would be discussed. So that's why it is in news. Now with respect to this, let's solve the question and understand few important points related to anti-defection law. Here the question says regarding the anti-defection law as enshrined in the 10th schedule of the Indian Constitution, consider the following statements. First statement, a nominated member of a house is disqualified if they join any political party within 6 months of taking their seat. Totally incorrect. A nominated member, if he joins any political party after the 6 months of taking their seat, he will be disqualified. But before, within the 6 months, he will not be disqualified. So first statement is incorrect. Second statement, the decision of the presiding officer, that is speaker, regarding with respect to Lok Sabha regarding disqualification under the 10th schedule is beyond judicial review. No, there is judicial review. So second statement is also incorrect. Third statement, a merger of a political party with another political party is permissible under the 10th schedule if the two-thirds of the legislative parties merge is 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is 3 only. From the options given, the correct option would be option B. So with this, I hope you had understood the question and also the context of the question. Why we are discussing this? The Supreme Court is going to ask, is there any time period? They are going to discuss with respect to the time period for within which the speaker should answer such questions. Often it is highlighted that the speaker would take up the case and he will sit for the time for the unlimited time over the case and did not answer the question. So that's why it is in news. So with this, let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Here the question is regarding the gold monetization scheme. So it was launched in 2015 and now it has been in a way ended, we can say. So with respect to this gold monetization scheme, I would like to add a few things here that under this scheme there were 3 types of investments, we can say. Under the gold monetization scheme, there were there were 3 types of investments were made through it. The main purpose of the gold monetization scheme was, when it was introduced in 2015, the main major purpose of it was to reduce the import dependence. So what did the government thought? That we have the household gold, why not convert it, why not monetize that household gold? Under this there were three types of it based on the time. First was short term investment, or we can say short term investment, under which the household will provide gold to the banks, and this gold would be converted into the money which they need, and it would be for the shorter time period. And for this, the interest would be provided, there would be interest, it would be decided by the banks itself. Then there would be the medium term and long term, under which the gold would be provided, it would be melted, and it would be, the assets would be created for what further processing would be done under this. And what will be, when this gold would be melted by the banks, it would be sold to the jewelers, and they will form the gold artifacts with respect to that gold. So with this, under this, the interest rate, it would be decided by whom? It would be decided by Government of India, or we can say the RBI. So these are few important facts about the gold monetization. And with respect to this medium term and long term, it has been now ended by the Government of India. But this short term, it is still there, and because in it the interest rate is decided by banks, so it is up to banks how they will deal with them. But this long term and short term, it has been ended by the Government of India, and that's why it is in news. So with respect to this, I hope you had understood the basic concepts related to gold monetization scheme. So let's solve the question here. The question says regarding the gold monetization scheme launched by the Government of India in 2015. Consider the following statements. First statement, the primary objective of the gold monetization scheme is to mobilize gold held by households and institutions in India and facilitate its use for productive purposes. 100% correct. Under the GMS, participating banks are permitted to fix the interest rate on gold deposits independently. 100% correct. The participating banks are permitted to fix the interest rates on gold deposits independently. That is true. And also for the shorter time period they are permitted, as we saw it there. And now as the other two are omitted, now this statement becomes totally correct. Third statement, the scheme allows deposits of gold in the form of both bullion and jewelry irrespective of the purity. No, purity would be checked, so third statement is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 2 only, and from the code given below the correct code would be option A, and correct code would be option B. So with this I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now with this let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is regarding the disaster relief funds as recommended by the 15th Finance Commission. Let's solve it. Is informative based question. Let us discuss it. Let us see what does the question say. Question says, regarding the allocation of disaster relief funds as recommended by the 15th Finance Commission, which of the following parameters are given significant weightage? So what are the parameters which are given significant weightage? Is it population only? Is it population only? Is it the size of the state only? Or is it the previous experience of the disasters only? So what are the parameters which are given significant weightage? So first statement, historic disaster expenditure 100% correct. This is. Second is geographical area and population. These two are also given the important they have the significance with respect to the funds received by the governments to protect themselves from the disasters. Third statement, disaster risk index, that is also true. Fourth, state's fiscal capacity, this is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 1, 2 and 3, and from the code given below the correct code would be option C. So with respect to this question, the correct code would be option C. With this, I hope you had understood how the funding is given to the states, what are the parameters which is recommended by the 15th Finance Commission. So these funds are for that period, for that purpose, so that you can save yourself from the disasters. It is not for after the disaster. It is before the disaster, how you can save yourself from disasters, and these parameters would be decided, would play a key role in a state getting the finances with respect to that. So with this I hope you had understood this question also. Now let's move to the another slide and see what question we had brought there. Well, here the question is with respect to the Black Sea. Why it is in news? Because there is negotiation going on between Ukraine and Russia. Earlier we have the Black Sea, earlier we have this Black Sea grain deal, under which the grains from the Ukraine would not be attacked on any cargo ship which would contain the grains from the Ukraine or towards the Ukraine would not be attacked. But it was violated in 2023 from the Russian side, because Russia believed that Ukraine did not keep its promise. So here now Russia and Ukraine are again negotiating over it, and it is almost the signed deal, as USA is the mediator between the Russia and Ukraine in this case. And with respect to this, it is almost the signed deal. Now it won't be, the commercial ships won't be attacked which are taken the food grains to the from the Black Sea towards the Ukraine. So but here the Russia had put forward some important points which should be fulfilled before they will agree to this deal. And what are those points? That they are having some sanctions over their trade with respect to their trade in these food grains, that those sanctions should be taken off so that they can trade with the countries what they want to. And also with the banking system, with the SWIFT system, there is sanctions over them, so it should be also taken off. These are few important points which were highlighted by Russia so that they will agree to this agreement. So with this, I hope you had understood the context of the question. Now let's solve the question here. Let's see what does the question say. The question says, which of the following countries border the Black Sea? So such questions are very much important for you, so please do know that, do remember that. So what are the which of the following countries border border Black Sea? About Armenia, does it border Black Sea? No, Armenia does not border Black Sea, so we can eliminate option 5, and we can eliminate option C and option D. Does Ukraine border Black Sea? 100% Ukraine borders Black Sea. So here option 4, only option with option 4 is option B. That is, so option B would be the correct answer. So with respect to this question, what are the countries which are bordering Black Sea? It is Georgia, it is Romania, and it is Ukraine. Among these countries which are bordering Black Sea are Georgia, Romania, and Ukraine. So with this, I hope you had understood the question as well as the context of the question. Now with this, we had completed questions from the current affairs part. Now let's move to the another part of our discussion where we will see the question from the static portion. As you know, currently we are discussing the powers of the Rajya Sabha in the Parliament of India in Indian polity, which we are discussing. So here, let's solve the question and understand what are the powers of the Rajya Sabha with respect to the disciplinary powers of the Rajya Sabha. So here question says, regarding the disciplinary powers of the Rajya Sabha, consider the following statements. First statement, the Rajya Sabha, like the Lok Sabha, possesses the power to expel a member for gross misconduct. 100% correct. This is the power which it enjoys. Second statement, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha has the authority to suspend a member from disorderly conduct during a session. 100% correct. This is also true. Third statement, the Rajya Sabha can initiate proceedings for breach of privilege against its members or outsiders. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the three statements are correct. And with this, I hope you had understood what are the disciplinary powers of the Rajya Sabha. And also we understand that there are, Rajya Sabha has the power when it comes to the impeachment of the president, or the removal powers, or the removal of the higher judiciary. Rajya Sabha has the part in it. Rajya Sabha has a take in it. So this shows the disciplinary power of the Rajya Sabha. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is option D. With this, I hope you had understood the topic as well as the question. Now with this, let's move to the last part of our discussion where we will solve a previous year question. Here the question says, the largest coral reef in the world found is found near the coast of which of the following countries? So this is the question. It was asked basically in which year? It was asked in 2007. This question was asked in 2007. Before we will solve the question, I would like to add here that this question is from the world geography of the world, and this shows you how much well versed you should be, how much well known you should be, how much knowledge you should have with respect to these questions. So that is the reason we had brought it here. So with respect to this question, the question says the largest coral reef in the world is found near the coast of which are one of the following countries? It is Australia. 100% true. The correct option is option A. And the largest coral reef is the Great Barrier Reef. It is the name is Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef, located just off the northeastern coast of Australia, which is located at the northeastern coast of the Australia. So correct answer would be option A. With this, we complete our today's discussion. I hope you would have liked the video. I hope you would share it with your friends, and I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.